All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Tony Klausing. Thanks so much for staying for the presentation. Thanks to Presidio Bitcoin for hosting. I work here out of Presidio Bitcoin, and it's truly the best place in the Bay to build as a Bitcoin builder. I'm here to present today about my project called Stable Channels, and it's a way to deliver stabilized dollar balances on Bitcoin while preserving the core Bitcoin ethos of self-custody and decentralization. So let's get to it. First, I want to start with this simple chart, and this shows the growth of Tether the growth of stablecoins since Tether began in 2014. And whatever your view on stablecoins, the product market fit here is undeniable. Stablecoins give people access to a dollar bank account. They provide a base pair for crypto trading and a medium of exchange. But at the end of the day, stable coins are fiat IOUs. They aren't Bitcoin, right? They require trust, intermediaries, and balance sheet risk. This stands in contrast to Bitcoin, and after all, we're here at Presidio Bitcoin, not Presidio Stablecoin. So the question I'm asking today is, can we deliver stable dollar balance on Bitcoin itself in a way that preserves the ethos of Bitcoin, self-custody, peer-to-peer architecture, and decentralization? Well, I believe we can with something that I'm calling stable channels. So the core idea of stable channels is that we match up to Bitcoin holders on a Lightning channel to stabilize Bitcoin at a US dollar price. One side wants the stable dollar value, and the other side is willing to provide that stability, take the opposite of the trade, effectively going leverage long, the stability provider on the right side. Both sides run Lightning nodes, and both sides run the stable channels software. And both deposit Bitcoin into this shared payment channel, this regular Lightning channel, which we designate as the stable channel. So let's take a simple example. Let's say you're a hodler, you've got one Bitcoin, and the price of Bitcoin reaches $100,000, and you want to lock in that price. With the Stable Channels wallet, you move your Bitcoin into self-custody, into the wallet, and into the Lightning channel, and we match you with a stability provider who's willing to peg you at $100,000. So here's how it works. Every 30 seconds, the software goes out and gets the latest price from several different exchange price feeds, the latest Bitcoin price. And one of three things has happened. Let's say the price hasn't moved, and that's good. The user wanted to be stable at $100,000 and is still equal to $100,000. But let's say that the price goes down. Then that means that it takes more Bitcoin to keep this guy stable at $100,000. So the provider streams sats, streams Bitcoin over to the stability receiver. Now let's take the other thing that could happen, which of course is that the price goes up. If the price goes up, then it takes less Bitcoin to keep this guy stable at $100,000, right? So if the price goes up, then the receiver is streaming payments to the stable provider on the other side. The provider effectively has the leverage long exposure. So this continuous, cheap, high-frequency rebalancing is only possible because of Lightning's capabilities of settling instantly and almost for free, basically for free. The receiver gets low volatility as they want. It's a synthetic dollar position, and the stability provider gets leverage long exposure as the price rises. So what I've built is an application for a self-custody user to cleanly access this protocol on one side. And then on the other side, I've built a full stack product for the Lightning service providers or service providers to manage their stability channels and manage their relationships with users. With this architecture that you see here, Lightning lets us compress counterparty risk down to mere seconds. That unlocks what I'm calling streaming finance, financial relationships that update continuously in tiny increments. With this platform for streaming finance, we can build all sorts of use cases on top of it. So this is the Stable Channels desktop application. One use case, of course, is stability as a service, keeping users stable. Stablecoins have tremendous product market fit. Another use case is that users can choose what mix of Bitcoin allocation they want and what mix of dollar allocation they want. For example, this user wants to have 25% Bitcoin, 75% US dollar exposure instead of $100,000 or 100% USD exposure. This user would have $75,000 of dollar exposure and 0.25 Bitcoin exposure, so they can trade back and forth. We can also add in interest rate payments paid over that self-same channel, similar to funding rate mechanics found in perpetual swaps or perpetual futures and crypto markets derivatives. Of course, now with Square merchants accepting Lightning payments, we can also add in payments in and out over the Lightning-enabled capabilities. I think that this will also be useful for financial privacy because it uses Bitcoin's peer-to-peer architecture and emphasis on self-custody. Also, in specific jurisdictions and specific situations, I think that the solution might be tax efficient because you're entering into a synthetic dollar position rather than an outright sale of your Bitcoin. Looking forward, we can think about users wanting exposure not just to dollars and Bitcoin, but perhaps wanting exposure to other types of financial assets using Bitcoin as a derivative settlement mechanism. For example, right here, the user has a portfolio of dollars, Bitcoin, stabilized gold, and stabilized S&P 500. And each of those is, the demand for providing or receiving this stability is modulated with a funding rate similar to cryptocurrency perpetuals futures. So finally, a little bit about me and about the project. Before this, I spent years at JP Morgan, where I designed and built their digital assets trading network. That system has moved trillions of dollars since it launched in repo trades, tokenized stablecoins, and tokenized U.S. Treasuries. But I'm a longtime Bitcoiner, and I'm happy to be working on Bitcoin now. And I'm focused on, with all of the entrepreneurs and builders in this room, building out multi-trillion-dollar value use cases on Bitcoin and Lightning. So the product now is in MVP status. It works on, it's in the app Mac Store. You can use it. It also works on Linux and Windows desktops. The project is now in an open source incubation stage. I've received sponsorship from OpenSats and the Human Rights Foundation. And looking forward, I'm looking for ethos-aligned developers, advisors, and partners to work towards scale, commercialization, and ultimately hyper-Bitcoinization. Thank you.